Welcome back to the Puck Bunker. I'm Rocco Zappia, joined as always by my co-host, the man who is formally petitioning for a name change to the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, Darren Boyce. How are you doing this evening?
It would be a star-studded goalie type tournament and big defenseman type tournament. That's what I want to see.
Could you imagine the gall replacing Gretzky's name with Darren Boyce? Maybe one day. I don't imagine though. Not in this lifetime. Maybe in your dreams. That will be the subject of our discussion again tonight. Is the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, which is now completed their round robin play. And they're getting ready to have the semifinals on Friday. We will see Sweden versus Finland. We'll touch a little bit on that matchup, but of course, primarily our focus will be on Canada versus the USA. I was hoping this would be the gold medal match. I mean, I predicted it would be Canada-Sweden, but you always hope it's Canada-USA. It's fun to play them in the finals. However, we'll take it in the semis. We get to see a match that everybody loves to see on both sides of the border, which is where most of our viewers are, either in Canada or the States. So everyone's excited about that. Look forward to hopefully some debates in the comments about who's going to come out there. But boys, let's start. Give me your thoughts on just a couple guys maybe who have stood out to you so far, and we'll just roll into this thing, see where it takes us.
Well, yeah, like Keaton Verhoeff's the best player in the tournament. I think that's.
Has he been dominant or what? My goodness.
Listen, we wanted to see what he looked like. We assumed he would have a dominant tournament, as he should. He certainly lived up to that expectation. He is just bigger and stronger than everyone out there. Like, he can just motor through guys at this level. He's too good for this level. Let's be quite honest.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good this is.
He's a man. These guys are kids. Like, he's a man.
He's like the Eric Lindros of defensemen.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Again, he's a really good defender. I mean, again, when we did his kind of scout review, we had the point where, well, I question his foot speed a little bit, but then you watch the game and like it's not really an issue. Like, he's never gets beat. He's always in good position, takes good routes to the puck, really good active stick, just stronger guys, just beats guys. He is ready for college. I think college was, again, he's definitely going to play well there. It's just, I still question whether the offense will be there in that level. He's going to play good. He's going to play pretty good minutes down there and be a good player.
Yeah. I mean, I've been incredibly impressed. He can pretty much just white out an entire side of the ice for you. Nothing gets by him. Nothing gets past him. He's playing as close to mistake free as a 17-year-old is going to. He's been nothing short of dominant for Canada.
Well, there's other.
I don't see, I don't know how do you solve this guy at this level?
Well, there's other first round defensemen on the team and on the ice, and he's substantially better than them.
There's not just other first rounders. There's other potential top 10, top 15 picks here.
It's not close.
No. Nope.
And even if you look at, again, I know he's a year younger, even look at like a guy like DuPont. There's still, again, I think there's still another level in terms of the defensive type prospect you have with Verhoeff here. He's gonna play in the league a long time, man. Like, he is solid. I would love to be the goaltender and just have him on my team for 12 plus years. I'd be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, no kidding. I mean, that's plug and play for 15 plus. I mean, there's no risk. There's no risk with him.
No, I don't think so. He's going to play. He's going to play a lot. Now, I will say, I do want to point out with this tournament.
Well, a little bit like Bouwmeester.
No, he's not.
Not the skating though, but no, not the skating. I know Bouwmeester the skating was a thing, but like you look at him, just in the sense where you look at him, you're like, okay, well, this guy, pencil him in for 1,000+ games and a top 3 pick.
Safe. Yeah. Now it is noteworthy that, again, we can point out that he's bigger and stronger than everyone. It is noteworthy though that a lot of the forward groups that they're now, other than Finland, which we'll get to, A lot of these forward groups are quite small. It's noteworthy when they're playing against him. However, I think he'll be just fine against bigger guys. And as you saw in that Finland game, he was fine. Like, he was their best guy in that game when they were, again, Finland has a top line where everyone had its top line where everyone was 6'3" and like a man.
First line for Finland's fantastic.
We're going to talk about that later because they've been missed. Those guys have been missed. Those guys are good.
So for all the people, and like, this is a very, like, I've noticed Finnish hockey fans have a bit of a chip on their shoulder in terms of
That's why
feeling overlooked by people, guys like us, I suppose. But that first line, like, I see where the frustration comes.
Do we want to talk about it? Do we want to talk about it now?
Well, let's just talk about them now because we were talking about them right before we started recording. We're both
okay.
Excited about these guys. Well, okay, so you had, I mean, no, you go ahead. You're pumped. Go ahead. Talk. You start this.
They had a first line against Canada that is 6'3", 6'4", 6'3", all quite strong, quite big guys. They dominated that game in terms of when they were on the ice. They were by far the most impactful forwards on both teams there. And now I know that I know that Belchetz on Canada had 3 points that game. Canada's D, other than Verhoeff, struggled against them.
Yes.
And I go into again, this is why we do this and we study it ourselves, and we're going to do this, we're going to scout all these guys more in depth as we go. How on earth are none of these guys ranked in the first round?
Well, the Suvanto was like, dude, he was all over the ice.
10 days from the cutoff.
I know.
He's a centerman.
Hemming's shot was, holy fuck, can this guy shoot the puck? And his brother can shoot the puck too, so I shouldn't be surprised. But like, it almost looks more. It almost like he almost might be better.
Well, look, the thing is with Hemming, good net front guy. And we talked about this last year.
Struggles with the feet a little bit.
Well, not last year. Okay, a little bit. Bigger guy. We've literally talked about this last year with bigger guys that have maybe some feet issues, aka Jack Nesbitt. He is not Jack Nesbitt. He skates far better than that. And he's a winger, and he plays like he was hammering guys. Like, he hit guys. He went to the net, scored at net, strong around the net, and has a good shot.
Yeah.
So when we had Grant on, he was raving about Prokhorov, right? Who again, Prokhorov has a skating ability, but the whole point of a guy like Prokhorov is it's really hard to find those big hulking wingers, those big hard wingers that play in the playoffs that can score greasy goals and play a hard game. There they are. And like these guys, again, these guys have less flaws than a guy like Prokhorov, and Prokhorov went 40th?
Yeah. 41st.
Yeah. So I mean
41st, whatever.
Yeah. And again, I get it's a different draft in that. A lot of these top guys that we're seeing in this draft are small.
Yes. Well, okay, hold on. I want to say this though, because there's a difference between us seeing the top guys in the draft and us seeing the guys who have been in high profile enough situations for a couple of years that the public happens to know about. Like, that's what a summer list is, right? A summer list is more true. Preseason list is more, and not the preseason list, but like when you're like right around the 2025 draft, if you're putting out a list for 2026, like the day after that draft, it's not necessarily, it's just, those are the guys that you've been exposed to at this point. And that's one thing that you see every year. The first round at the end of the year looks significantly different from the early like season projections. And a guy last year, for example, like Kiva Harju, the defenseman that Minnesota took, it happened to him 2 years ago. Happened to a guy like Benák last year, where they've been so high profile and skill for so long. They're ranked high on virtue of that, right? Exposure. And then it's just like, oh, well, why are they falling so much in the draft? Well, it's not they're not necessarily falling. It's just now everyone's paying attention to this age group, their club teams, further than just international and further than just the highest scorers at the U17s or other things of that nature. So it's not necessarily like the top guys that we watch have been small. It's just those often are the guys who stand out at 15, 16 that you get exposed to a lot earlier on in the draft cycle.
So you're right. That's true. I'm just saying, we talked about this in the preview of the tournament, that this draft class, for instance, is lacking centermen.
Yes.
Okay. And we talked about, again, we'll talk about him later, Brooks Rogowski, how he's like, well, he's a 6'6" centerman. Like, this is a potential guy that can move up. We'll talk about him.
He's good, dude.
Yes, he is good. This Suvanto guy is 6'3", 210 pounds. And again, he is 10 days from the cutoff, and he is a really, really nice playmaker for a centerman at 6'3". And like, he can move a bit.
Well, he gets in there. He's not afraid to muck it up either. He's not soft.
This looks like, again, where I want to review him further, this looks like a first rounder.
I would say that him and Hemming should both be at this point. I would say, like, okay, right now there's probably like 10 absolute can't miss fucking slam dunk first round picks that are not going anywhere for sure. There are other 20 guys. So these kind of guys, Hemming, Suvanto, there's going to be probably about 50 of these guys that we have to sort out, right? That are going to be 1/2. It's a long season, but I agree with you. Those are two guys that absolutely deserve to be in the conversation when people are talking about potential first round picks, and they're not so far. But I feel like that's going to absolutely change after this tournament.
It should.
It will.
Like, again, Canada, when you look at this tournament, we'd say on paper, like, Canada has the deepest team. They should have the deepest team
for that matter, but we'll get there.
Canada should have the deepest team, especially on D. Their D is, that's why they're better than everyone else. Their D is better, or should be better. They also have Keaton Verhoeff, which no other team has. I think that's more the difference.
That's part of the D.
But again, it is noteworthy. Haven't really seen this in a while, where there is a line on another team that is dominating the offensive side of the ice. Like, they could cycle the puck. Like, they are physically winning battles. This doesn't happen very often. Like, I'm just saying it now. This team at 18-19, that Finnish team is going to be, like, if they have a legitimate first line of World Juniors, like, this is going to be a tough team to beat. Because the US has the same problem as Canada does. Their first lines are always small skill. They always are. Like, they're not going to match up with them. No other team's going to have 3 guys that are 6'3", 6'4" on their first line.
No, and that's fair.
So I'm just saying, again, if these guys project, and like, if the year goes on and like these guys are still like really, really good prospects, like, Finland is a dangerous team in the next couple age groups.
Yes, they are. They can be.
Yeah.
And they play just Finnish hockey is, they're so in it for one another that Finnish teams, and I find Czech teams are like this too, they're typically so much better than the sum of their parts.
Yeah. But again, I didn't even mention the guy, Vilho Vanhatalo. Great name. Guy gets forgotten.
And one day we're going to learn how to say it.
Guy gets forgotten. Again, 6'4", like, really solid wing player. Like,
he was good too. Now, I did think that the other two were a little bit more noticeable there.
Yeah.
However, that entire line was fascinating.
You don't see guys that big on one line.
No, it's
I don't even think you see it in the NHL.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, you don't even see lines that big in the NHL.
You see it in Windsor, maybe.
Yeah, with Windsor, they don't move like that though. No, I guess. Well, actually, you know what? Protoss improved his skating. I'll give him credit for that.
Green Tree skates fine.
Yeah. But if we want to talk, I'm going to move back to Canada here a little bit. Just on their,
we've been talking about the Finns right before we started recording. We got excited a little bit.
Well, no Finnish slander here. We like the Finns. There's some good players there.
Much better Finnish squad That's one thing I've noticed about this tournament generally. The talent and the quality of play at the tournament is oodles better than it was last year, especially on Finland and USA, especially on those two teams. And I would say Sweden has a stronger team as well.
Yeah. To be fair, we probably shouldn't even be slandering Finnish hockey anyway. We finished like 8th in the World Juniors this year, and they literally were one shot away from winning the tournament. So
we don't slander Finnish hockey. We're not Finnish slanders.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about a couple other guys on Canada's D-Corps. Lynn. So he's ranked pretty highly, and he has a lot of offensive ability. Look, that's great. He's smaller, and I do question his skating a bit. He gets knocked off the puck a lot.
He does look a little bit bigger than he's listed, though, like taller.
Well, we'll see what he actually gets measured at when the season.
I think he'll be measured over 6 feet when it's all said.
Which will help him. Again, we're going to look at him a little closer. Just the defensive, again, we haven't done the in-depth review of these guys, or at least I haven't as much yet, just from, again, watching the general game. It just seemed he was a little too easy to beat on pucks here. So, I'd like to see that improve. And I actually thought DuPont struggled a little bit in the first game. Like, he did struggle against Finland a bit. He made some mistakes out there, and he was struggling to make passes. Now, again,
he's 16. Sure
he's 16. But again, it was, kind of noteworthy, how good Verhoeff looked against, that might actually even, if you think about it, just might be even a better barometer for his draft class when Finland is throwing out some big guys and he's fine.
He has no issue. He has
zero issue.
He's just like, I look at Verhoeff, and to me, I'm like, this is the best shutdown defender in this whole draft already by a lot. And he has 45 plus point upside, if not better. If he chooses to focus on that. That's pretty crazy. That's a crazy prospect, dude. The best shutdown defender who also could be 50 plus points in that. Like, that's crazy.
Is there any chance he can go first?
I want to say no, but then I look back at, I'm like, Drew Doughty, Alex Pietrangelo. I'm like, are these guys, can you win without these guys? They have Stanley Cups, 4 cups between them, 5 cups between them, 4 cups between them, whatever it is, enough. And I'm like, this could be the next guy where in that line of guys who can completely erase one side of the ice and go up and give you 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 points in their prime years, while also being the best defenseman on the ice.
So what percentage are we at that he could go first?
More than 0.
It's more than 0 now. We're gonna. I think we need to check up on
0.
I think we need to check up on this every month where we're at.
Well, it's kind of the fucking idea of the program here.
Well, no, but him specifically.
Well, we're going to put out 5 sets of rankings, so I mean, we're going to be checking in on these guys for sure.
So Rocco said it here. It's more than 0 now. So again, Gavin McKenna is not a slam dunk first overall pick. My bad. That
I still think he's pretty damn close,
but he's not slam dunk.
But no, I'm like, I don't know.
Here's Rocco. How about the Sharks? How about the Sharks get first overall? Who they take?
Gavin McKenna, Keaton Verhoeff. Oh, yeah, Verhoeff. I suppose. Yeah,
they need a right-hand D.
They maybe trade to second.
I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possible.
I'm not going to be a party to starting that debate yet.
It's not a debate yet. It's just not out of the realm of possibility. This guy's good.
I would say this, like this time last year at Christmas or whatever, we're like, okay, this is a runaway Connor McDavid type. No one's even fucking close. It could be a situation where it's like a McDavid Eichel where he makes it a bit of a competition sort of for a little bit, but it's more so in recognition of the fact that there are two guys worthy of being a first overall pick, rather than saying this guy's going to go ahead of McKenna. I'm more so in the world where I would say, to me, Keaton Verhoeff looks like he could be a number one pick in a normal draft. You still have a guy that's not really normal.
Yeah.
In that, like McKenna, what McKenna's done offensively blows Bedard, Crosby, and McDavid out of the water.
Doesn't blow Bedard out of the water. That's not true.
Numbers wise, did Bedard put up more points in his D-1?
Well, but you're again, McKenna. It's a different
stats wise, just stats wise.
Here, okay. I posted
points. That's it, just points.
Bedard outscored him. Bedard outscored him as a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old.
What did Bedard have in his D-1?
Well, again, but it's not the same because McKenna's playing another year.
Okay, I suppose.
Okay. Like that. Oh,
you're right. I don't. But yes, you're right. No, that's fair. I didn't.
Can I give you one other stat? Can I give you one other?
I didn't consider the late birthday there. That's fair.
Can I give you one other stat?
You're going to anyways. So yes.
Okay. World Junior performance.
Oh yeah, but Bedard and McDavid.
Just wait. Connor Bedard is a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old in the World Juniors.
Yes. Better.
14 games, 31 points.
That's a lot.
Okay. Gavin McKenna played 5 games. He didn't make it as a 16-year-old, played as a 17-year-old. How many points does he have?
Not that many. Not 31.
1.
Yeah.
And they lost in the quarterfinal. Connor Bedard literally won them the tournament.
That's fair. So okay.
Listen, I'm not saying he's actually a worse prospect. I think they're on the same level. But Bedard, I think we're kind of, I'm hearing this a bit more now that he's like, this is a better guy than Bedard. He's not.
I mean, I don't think we're looking at a necessarily Sidney Crosby.
I don't think he's better than Celebrini either.
Connor McDavid.
But that wasn't the public perception. But I really liked Celebrini.
I think Celebrini's too. Celebrini's the closest thing.
He was I think he was undervalued because he went to college. I think the media just didn't talk about him as much.
He's the closest thing to Sid that there is. No one. Sidney Crosby is fucking the most underrated superstar that's ever graced the fucking sport, and Celebrini might be the next guy in that line. Crosby still doesn't get his due among the all-time greats.
Yeah, again, we're talking about like a generational guy. Like those are McDavid's, those are Crosby. That word gets bandied around too much.
Yes.
McKenna's not a generational first round. He's a really good one. He's like a second. Like he's going to score a lot of points.
Patty Kane.
Sure. I think he's a better prospect than Kane. Like he's a better prospect than Kane was, like in general, just because Kane kind of came out. Kane wasn't even ranked to be the first overall pick. Now Chicago made the right pick, but he wasn't like, again, that was kind of late in that draft year where he kind of moved up.
We're so fucking off track here. Keaton Verhoeff's good.
Yeah.
That's the point. He's very good.
So Gavin McKenna, but it's worthy of a discussion. I think at least a small one.
I think it could be, and a lot of that will have to do with if Gavin McKenna can dominate statistically at college, he may run away with it. But if he doesn't, there's a door open, and I think most teams would say that Verhoeff is a number one quality prospect in a lot of years. In a lot of years, this would be the top guy. Daxon Rudolph.
Go ahead.
What a tournament he's having so far. My goodness. He has been, I feel, a two-way force. And I'll talk about him and Carels in the same breath here, because these two guys have been absolutely fucking phenomenal. Carels on the one finished goal made a bit of an error, but that's very atypical for him. And he's been completely lights out since that one bad play. Rudolph, the same thing. I mean, that shot he had today. Oh my God, he almost blasted that through the netting. And he's locking guys down in the defensive zone. He's big, he can skate, he moves the puck, he's engaged physically, he's reading the play well at both ends. And I have almost the identical scouting report for him and Carels after these first 3 games, and well, they're just both so highly effective, and they're both such good two-way players already, and they're succeeding against whatever's being thrown at them. They're not giving up high end chances, and I know Verhoeff's playing 25 minutes a night, but these guys are playing a shit ton of minutes as well. And Canada really, aside from a couple of things at Finland in the Finnish game, but the goals against them, primarily due to error anyways, Canada's not giving up a lot of high-end anything. Nothing's really getting to the middle. There's not really, the goalie made 20-some saves today, and he stopped everything that came his way. But was there a save? Was there a save where I'm like, whoa, he has stole a goal, like, because, it was a 2-on-1, and like, no, he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to do that. Just made fucking 26 saves, everything for the most part to the outside. They killed off a huge 5-minute major when the game was 1-0, right? To basically that kind of took the wind out of the Czechs' sails, and that was kind of all she wrote after that. But Verhoeff's getting, and rightfully so, all of the attention and all of the love. But look, I think Rudolph and Carels right now are pretty good fucking bets here to be top 10 or top 15 picks, at least top 15. I personally would have both of them top 10 as of right this second.
Yeah, I mean, look, the only guys who gave Canada problems was that Finnish first line.
Yeah.
So what I'm interested in is how these guys look against the US, because it's going to be different types of guys they're sending at them.
Okay, so I found that US has a ton of team speed.
Yeah.
They have a ton of team speed in this tournament, and that's something like Canada had. Look, all due respect to the Czech team, this is not a strong group for them. They don't have anyone on the offensive side that is a lot of really good support players, but you need a guy to drive the bus, and they just simply don't have that. Finland's top line gave them trouble because of the size and the strength, but that's not a fast group of players. Whereas the United States is sending zing, 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 and they're flying north, south, fast.
It's a different test.
It's a way different. Yes, it is. It is
for a lot of these guys. So again, I'm just going to be interested to see how, again, these guys look against now these, I call them these speed demon type US guys. And again, a lot of skill on that US team too. So we'll see how that, again, different type of team. We'll see how they look against them. I mean, it's tough to really watch Canada the other 2 games. Just be like, wow, like I don't really feel they were challenged that much.
They're not.
Yeah.
The only game of Canada's, like, okay, yes, it's good to watch the other games. You still see who's good because, like, whatever, that's fine. They're still worth scouting, and obviously we're watching all the games.
Yeah.
The Finnish game is the only one where you're really going to learn something about guys, and the American game you will really get to see, because the thing is, against like the Swiss and in large part, not as to the same extent, but the Czech as well, they're just like, they're gonna look good, and you're gonna see what everyone's strengths are.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna see where against the United States, who can test them with some speed, and they can throw different things at you, and they can throw a big line at you if you want. And they can throw some high flying guys. We're gonna see Canada, if they have holes in their armor, and if so, where they are. Because a team like the States, with all their speed and all their talent, that would be the team to expose them. That said, it's going to be tough for them to get anything going against a Canadian team, unless there's a breakdown of some sort as well.
Yeah.
Or of course a power play, obviously.
Should be a pretty quick game. But again, I think up front, there's some similarities of these teams up front.
There is.
It's just on D, there's again, I think there's a discrepancy.
Massive discrepancy.
Yeah,
huge.
That's the difference in the rosters there. But again, we'll learn, if these teams, what their flaws are and what they're good at here. A couple guys actually I did want to mention again before we move on. Again, 2 guys I mentioned before, Beckham, Edwards. I think this guy's going to score a lot of goals in the OHL this year.
Can he shoot the puck or what?
Yeah, well, he can shoot the puck. He kind of can score around net, and he's fast. Like this Sarnia team's going to be really interesting next year. We're going to have Brock Otten on. Like, I'm actually interested in hearing what he thinks about them. They're going to have some holes, but they're going to be exciting at least. Because they have Prokhorov too, which is hilarious.
He's coming to the CHL?
I think so. I think he's going to Sarnia.
That's sweet. Oh my God, I love that.
But the thing with, look, Edwards has some flaws. Like, I don't think he's a great, I don't think he makes the best decisions all the time. I don't think he, is great defensively. I don't think he's bad per se. He's going to score a lot of goals though. So again, this is a guy who's good. It's going to be a guy here who scores 35, 40 goals in the O. Like, could he, like, he's like, that's probably, he's over 6 feet tall. Like, he can skate. Like, this could be a guy again to think about in the first round at some point. Again, he's probably on like kind of that cusp of being there.
A lot of guys are there right now.
But there you can see the ability. You saw the ability the first minute of the first game.
And if he's a 6'1", 40-goal center in the O, he's going to go in the first fucking round.
Well, he's not a center. I don't think he's a center. I think he's a winger.
Fair.
But nonetheless, you saw it the first shift he had.
I'm trying to make everyone a center this year. That's my goal.
He literally, first shift of the entire tournament, he had stole the puck, just wrapped around the circle and ripped it shelf.
Yeah, so, pretty good. It was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, that's the type of player where, again, there's a lot of like quick hit offense here that he can create. I don't think a lot of guys have that ability.
No, he's got game breaking. He's got game breaking scoring ability.
And as I said too, like he came into the O, again, young player, and he was scoring literally off the bat. So it does say something when a young player, 16-year-old, can score a little bit. And again, he got ice time. Still impressive. Unless it's like the Connor McDavids out there who are insane. Most guys, again, you score over 20 goals as a 16-year-old, like you're a really good player. Iorio as well, I think, has shown again what type of player he is. Does everything pretty well. I think he's a centerman, and he can play everywhere. I think he's a very skilled player, and
he can really fire the puck too.
He can shoot. He does everything quite well.
Yeah.
And a lot of outlets don't really mention his skill set, or his skill in general, as maybe his best asset. Again, I think there's an opportunity here for these Sarnia guys to really have good seasons. So this, like, again, I'm not going to compare him to a guy the last draft. There's a lot of Denwye in this guy. He can play. He does play like that.
My thing with him is the pace could come along a little bit. I would.
That was the same issue with Denwye.
Fair.
It's the same type of thing. I don't think he's quite as good as him, but I mean, it's still similar type player.
Yes, in terms of a pretty aware two-way guy that has the skill to pop as well. I do agree with that,
and I think he shoots the puck better than him. So
I don't think we're looking at a guy in the same. It's not going to be a guy in the conversation for the top 5. I don't.
A different draft year, but I mean, again, could we see this guy again? He's going to be playing in Sarnia. He's going to get first line minutes on a team that should score some goals. Like he's going to get some points.
They're going to have they might have multiple first rounders out of there this year.
Possible.
How's about okay? There's the New Brunswick coming out of me. I can't get rid of it sometimes. Mathis Preston, Darren, and like, I gotta talk to Islanders Mark here for a minute. Islanders Mark, did we notice that Darren's just been talking about all the big guys, and I'm bringing up Mathis Preston? I took that personally. I'm like, I'm giving the little guys a chance this year, and he's not the littlest guy, but my goodness, is this guy fun to watch? He is so electric. I feel, for my money, and now the guy I'll talk about after, Tynan Lawrence may have something to say about this, but for my money, Mathis Preston's been Canada's most dangerous player consistently. Every time he's on the ice, something seems to be happening. And I'll mention the Rucks with that too, because these are three guys who've known each other since they were kids. I mean, they're still kids in my eyes, but since they were actually kids, and they have a ton of natural chemistry. It's cool to watch these the Ruck brothers play together. They just always know where each other are on the ice. It's like, I mean, they're not the Sedins, but it's similar in the sense where those guys just they know where they are on the ice. They don't have to look. They don't have to think. They're fucking twins. So them with Preston, who's a childhood buddy, has just been what a fun line that was to watch. And Mathis Preston, I had Victor Eklund ranked outside of the top 10 last year, and I might have a hard time putting this guy outside of the top 10. He is that good. This is the kind of guy that will put asses in seats and then take those asses right out of those same seats by scoring a huge goal. He's so much fun to watch. So Mathis Preston has been so impressive, and Tynan Lawrence as well. He is what an intelligent player. He's always in the right spots. He's forcing turnovers. He's taking pucks the other way. He's looking guys off to open lanes. Like, there is a guy that reads the game extremely well. And I don't know how these two rank compared to each other when it's all said and done. I mean, I guess all things being equal, you usually give the edge to the centerman there. But these are two guys who are going to be a ton of fun to cover this year. And I talk about a small group of players who are absolute slam dunk first round picks. If they blow out their knee tomorrow and don't play the whole season, they're still first rounders. These are two guys on that very short list, Tynan Lawrence and Mathis Preston. Just they've been Canada's, if not the two of their best forwards easily here, and two of the best at the tournament so far.
The thing with Preston, I like, he's really good again in those tight spaces when he's pressured.
Yes,
the pressure doesn't bother him.
He uses the pressure to his advantage. Mm-hmm. He'll use oncoming pressure and take that guy completely out of the play.
Yeah, so with
one turn of his, like,
that is a pro style asset that will serve him well.
He shakes guys off as good as anyone I've seen in this whole tournament.
Because again, you did see some of these guys do struggle with pressure. Like, again, that game against Finland, like, some of these guys do struggle with the pressure they're putting on them. He did not. Like, they can come at him. Like, they can, threaten to be physical with them. He'll utilize that against them. He makes the right decision. Again, offensively makes the right decision. So that's, again, he does have a high level skill set. That way you can see that this guy's going to be a pretty good offensive player. He's going to make stuff happen. Really liked what I saw from him.
This is keeping in mind, this is August 13th, now 10 and a half months away from the draft. This is about of a slam dunk of a first line winger as I've seen so far this year.
Yes. Now, if I can segue this one, I've actually going to the United States team. Nikita Klepov has similar ability that way. I think he also is quite good at utilizing pressure against him to create opportunities, and he is very good. One thing I really did like, so we talked about McKenna, right?
I don't think he's in the same. I don't think he's as elite as Preston is.
Maybe not, but we talked about McKenna on the power play, correct? Like, when we did our scout of him. One thing McKenna was really good at is he's good at getting the puck to the middle of the ice to take shots. Klepov does that. And again, he's not just a perimeter guy. Like, he can get to the middle of the ice to do things. And I know he's not a huge guy. Honestly, I watched him a couple of times here. Like, he can scan on a power play. Like, there is a playmaker here. I'm interested to see what he looks like in the OHL, because he could put up a lot of points.
Yes. I think that's a guy who's going to have probably looks like a pretty good statistical season in the O. He's been very dangerous. He's been very
He
dangerous.
is literally, when he's on the ice, he is dangerous.
Okay, so there's a good example of a guy. I talked about this in the last episode, and later in the year, you're obviously keying on guys. You're watching the shifts more individually, blah blah, when you're really analyzing. But when I'm like first couple viewings of a team, I'm looking for guys I don't have to look for, right? And Klepov is one of those guys where you could have never fucking heard of him before you started watching him, and within a few shifts, you're like, oh well, this guy looks pretty dangerous when he's out there, right? Yeah. Very deceptive, very shifty. He can give it to you as a playmaker and a shooter, I think, which is nice because it keeps D on their toes, and he's got those quick hands where, again, like you said, if he's facing pressure, he can shake it off and turn that, kind of in the same sense, if a big guy comes at you, use their body weight against him, right, and kind of throw him over. You try to, anyways. Same thing. He uses that pressure against the guy coming on to open up lanes and either for a shot or a pass. And I think it says a lot too that you can tell the coaching staff purposely has a lot of plays, especially special teams, designed to go onto his stick at some point during the play. Like he gets a lot of puck touches on the power play, and that, when a guy's touching the puck a lot on the power play, that is part of the design.
Well, they trust you to make the right.
Well, that's exactly it, right? So I always do find it notable who the coaches seem to want to have the puck in those situations, because it gives. I mean, they should know their team better than we do, right? So
yeah,
I thought that's been pretty noteworthy that when there's a scoring opportunity, he's coming up over the boards pretty often.
Actually, if we wanted to have one discussion, we did forget one guy in Canada to talk about here was Belchetz, the guy we wanted to talk about.
You segued.
I wanted to talk about Klepov because there's similar skill sets to Preston there.
You segued Preston into Klepov. I was going to do the same thing with Belchetz into Rogowski, so that's funny. So maybe let's compare them, because I think that is actually maybe a little bit more of a debate than maybe people led to believe. Like, I see a lot of things from Rogowski that are in the same realm of what people are raving about Belchetz. Now, I will say the difference. I don't know that Rogowski has Belch's hands and maybe necessarily offensive upside, but Rogowski he reminds me a lot. Now, I know he's playing down the middle. Horcoff was a winger, but a lot of Will Horcoff traits and the things that made me really like him as a prospect, I see from Rogowski. Big, strong, plays north-south. Not a fancy guy, but can shoot the puck and can make a play with the puck. He'll get after you. He'll lay a hit. He's all the things that you don't want to have to play against, and I like that.
And he moves fine for his size.
Yes, no issues with that.
There's no skating kind of concerns there at all for a guy who's 6'6". That's noteworthy for a guy who's going to play center. Which is why when we did the preview episode, I said that could be a guy who can move up, because there's a skill set here that every team is going to want that at some point. Maybe they don't want it at 4th overall, but I mean, there's going to be a point in the first round where, like, wow, there's a 6'6" center available who can move a bit and has some offensive ability and does a lot of hard things out there as a centerman.
I would say, like, two guys you look at last year. 12th and 28th, Nesbitt and Horcoff. That could be a realistic range at this point in terms of where he might fit into the draft class. You look at those two guys, Nesbitt, obviously the centerman, maybe a little more offensive upside than Rogowski. Horcoff, a winger, maybe with similar tools. I know you're not as crazy on Nesbitt's upside, but the team who drafted him obviously they wouldn't have taken him that high. So maybe that's a good barometer for where you might be able to expect a guy in that mold to slot when it's all said and done.
I like Rogowski better as a prospect upon kind of the first viewings of, if you're comparing him to Nesbitt, I like Rogowski better just kind of that way.
But Nesbitt at this point last year was projected as a fringe first, maybe second round.
Right? I'm aware. I'm saying that I'm more of a fan of him,
yes,
than I was of the 12th overall pick of the last draft on early viewings of him. So, I mean, like, I do like this player.
Me too.
I
I
do
thought
see
he
the
was
value
fantastic.
of what there is with him. And he's a centerman. And we talked about this. There aren't any centermen in this draft. Well, maybe there are now because Suvanto's sick, but none. Well, whatever.
Dude, he's good. I'm the one that fucking tweeted him out after the first period of the game when you were changing your kid's diaper. So don't give me this Suvanto shit. I know Suvanto.
He's whatever. There aren't many centermen here. And again, the teams are going to, when there's a market need for center. There's always need for centermen. There's not many of them available. These guys are going to go higher than people think. It's just going to happen. Now with Belchetz, I want to just speak with him. You kind of see when he
You want to speak with him, just call him up, have a chat.
Okay. A great example of him is that first game. He has some highlight reel plays. He's got 3 points. Like he tried a Michigan. Like you can see the playmaking ability, like the ability to kind of create some things. But then he also has shifts where he falls down twice and like kind of just doesn't do anything. And it's the consistent. I tweeted about this. It's this consistency for him shift to shift that he needs to improve on. Because there's too many times that I've watched him that there's just not, again, and I've watched him with Windsor, but there's just too many times where just nothing's happening. And again, but then, he can create something then on, nothing, like, oh, great shift. Like, I wish he could just do it a little bit more.
Yeah. And that's fair. And that is fair. What I would say to that is that between last year and this tournament, there has been a noticeable change in his mobility, his strength, his balance, right? So while I still agree that these are things for him to continue working on, it is clear that he has been working on them. And for a guy going from a 16 into a 17-year-old season, for me to see the improvement and the fact that he is self-aware of the things, these kids are well coached. They all have personal coaches outside too. That's like they know the things they have to work on. But what I watched last season and what I've seen at this tournament, there has been a noticeable improvement in a lot of the areas that I wanted to see. So I would say that while I agree there are still some things to continue working on, the improvement has been noticeable just in a few short months. And I'd expect throughout the year that you see those things continue to get better.
He's a really good prospect. It's just, I think that's what you're looking for this year, is that there's a little bit more consistency in his game. Because again, when you see the high end, it's really good. It's just then at times you don't see it. And that's kind of where I get a little, like, again, on my viewings, I get a little frustrated because like, oh, there's more here. And when you see it, it's like, yeah, this guy, like you see it, this guy could be a top 5 pick. It's there.
Yeah.
But I would also like to point out, like, how big of a difference is there? Like, again, from what I've seen so far, I mean, we'll track this during the year. But you watch a guy like Hemming and compare him to like a Belch. It's like, is there that big of a difference?
I think a lot of the biggest difference is pedigree and being in Ontario.
Yeah.
I think that's has a lot to do with it. That said, Hemming strikes me maybe more as a pure kind of north-south, hit things, shoot things, and get off. And Belchetz, I see maybe a little more potential for him to be a higher end puck player.
Like there's more point potential here.
There's more point. Like, yeah, I think he has the elements and skills that Hemming has, but he also has a little more creativity, and I think he has much better hands and ability to kind of manipulate lanes. Whereas Hemming strikes me a little bit more as a brute force kind of guy, kind of like almost in a Haltonen sense, where your job is to be big, go hit things, and take one-timers. Whereas, which you can be amazing at those things, and you can make a long career doing that. Where I think Belchetz just has maybe another element or two to his game, and that's kind of the difference between them for me, anyways. At this point,
I'm fascinated with Belchetz because I think there's a world where he could, go as high as
3.
Yeah, but there's also a world where he goes out of the top
24.
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I think he's going to be a first rounder.
Yep.
There's just kind of, there's kind of a big range of where this could go. The 24 might even be far because again, it's
I'm just but you think it's far, but Lakovic went what? And we had him in the top 10 to start.
Well, he doesn't have he's not Lakovic. Like I'm not gonna.
We didn't think Lakovic could fall to 29 last September either.
True.
So it's a long year, and there's a lot of talent here.
Do you want to talk about Sweden for a minute?
Oh no, I gotta talk about a guy on the States first.
Go ahead. Oh yes, you do. Go ahead.
Schaefer Gordon.
Don't want to forget about him.
This guy, Darren, this might be the best forward at the tournament. I'm just gonna say that right now. This might be the best fucking forward at the tournament, and if not, he's one of the top 3 that I've seen so far at this tournament. And he's not even eligible till next year's draft. And he was buried on a very deep Medicine Hat team last year, and you look at his offensive numbers and they don't pop off the page, and you watch their games and he's noticeable. You notice him, but he wasn't like, oh wow, this you know what I mean? Like, you're not like jaw dropped by him. I was jaw dropped by him in the first 5 minutes of that game against Sweden. He made at least 3 plays. I was watching that game late at night. I was working late doing some other stuff, so I started watching a little bit late, and I was watching it beside Morgan, beside my girlfriend, and she was sound asleep, and I was watching the game. And within the first 5 or 6 or 7 minutes of that first period I woke her up 3 times, gasping at the TV, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "It's Gordon-Carroll." She's like, "Fucking cocky." I'm like, "Okay," but that's how like impressive he was. That it's like, oh my God, like he's so fucking smart. He's getting to the middle of the ice. He's anticipating plays. He's stealing pucks. He's jumping into lanes that defenders had no idea he was even near. There's breakout passes going. You'd think they were tape passes onto his stick because he's anticipating them so well. He sees the ice. He's beating guys, opening lanes up. He's scoring goals. He's making passes. Like as far as players that have impressed me this tournament, there has been almost nobody who's been as impressive to me as this kid. And he's not even eligible till next year.
So he does steal a lot of pucks. Like that was pretty.
What a smart player.
Pretty noteworthy there. From the goaltending perspective here, that goal that he had on kind of, I guess it was a breakaway. It's kind of a partial breakaway. That's a pro goal.
No other input on him, eh? I covered it all.
You did, but that is a pro goal. Like that is he has a pro shot. Like you come in and you rip low blocker and the goalie doesn't even go down, and like you just you casually hit your spot.
He didn't move. The goalie didn't move.
I want to again point out that he casually hit his spot.
I know, like it was nothing.
It wasn't. There was no rush, panic. Oh, like there's guys on me. It's just like
And that's what made that so impressive. Just casually pick off a puck and then rip it like it's nothing, and then go back to the bench. Okay, coach, did my job. What's next? Like, okay.
And he knows already to shoot low blocker. He's going to score goals. He will score.
Like he has, and again, there's only so much we can deduce from trying to watch 60, 80 guys across 3 games over the course of 3 days here. But his hockey sense is as good as anyone's in this whole tournament. Yeah. And when you have a guy with extremely high-end hockey sense to go with the physical skill, the tools, the ability that you need, he has NHL tools. And then you go in the fact that he's a hard worker and he gets after pucks and he's not soft. Like
he's over 6 feet too, so he's not small.
Where's the flaw?
Yeah, he's not small. Like he's a average forward size, I guess.
Yeah. He's good enough. He's tall. He's big enough where I'm not going to. He's big enough that I'm not going. It's not an asset, but I'm not going to hold it against him. He's big enough. He's elite. Yeah. He can be league average size when it's all said and done. That's fine. But I can't find. I'm like, this is the thing that you really need to work on. Mm-hmm. I don't like. Where's the thing that he's like extremely deficient? There's obviously things you got to work on. Things you get better. You're 17, like this, like whatever. That's fine. But relative to his peers, like where's the red flag? And I don't know where it is. I can't find it.
Well, again, also noteworthy when we're just watching the straight game. Also noteworthy then when he's out there, his line is just buzzing around in the offensive zone. The other team's struggling to get it out. Like they're creating chances. They're getting odd man rushes. Like they're turning them over all the time. And I'd argue that he is the common denominator of that happening. At least from what it seems like. Again, we will end up looking at him, I guess, a year from now. But I mean, this guy looks like a pretty premium prospect to me.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're going to get to see them a lot, right? Because I mean, he's on Medicine Hat. They've got the Rucks on that team. So, like, we'll see them. But yeah, he's
that team will still be good, by the way.
Early guy to look at for the 2020. I know the team's going to still be good. I was thinking about that today. I'm like, yeah, they're losing McKenna, but like they still have so many guys.
Yeah. All right.
There's a guy, early guy to be a potential very high pick in the 2027 draft. There's a guy. I'll put him on my slam dunk first rounders list for next year.
So just want to talk about Sweden too. Malte Gustafsson, I thought has looked pretty solid. I think there is, again, I don't think it's anything that's, popping off to you. Just plays a pretty solid game, though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he can kind of manipulate space, like when he's rushing the puck. Like he's pretty confident going back under pressure. He hits guys. Like he makes decent decisions. Good size. Don't think he's terrible at moving the puck. Like I think he's fine. You got that body. I mean, he's a pretty big guy. I mean, this is, again, maybe this is the classic thing. We don't have the elite skill set guy. This is the guy that's just pretty good at everything, and we have a good sized guy that
ho-hum pick in the early 20s, eh?
Yeah, probably something like that. That's kind of what that's screaming to me.
But again, didn't see like a crazy massive hole there with him.
No,
either. Like there's more risk. There's a bigger hole in a guy like Lynn, despite like Lynn obviously has
way more offensive upside.
Yeah, way more offensive upside. He'll probably be the higher pick, way better puck game, all that stuff. But I can look at Lynn and say, okay, there is a world where this one thing really hurts you down the road. Where Gustafsson, I don't see necessarily the elite tool. Whereas like with Lynn, I see the elite tool. With Gustafsson, I don't necessarily see the elite tool to make him in the range to be like in the conversation. Like Lynn will be debated about in the top 10 all year, right? He'll be in that conversation. I don't see this guy being in that conversation unless he suddenly like pops off offensively, which is possible. Guys do it all the time in their draft year. So that would be a situation where he could kind of really move up. But otherwise, I just see a guy I'm like, okay, really good size, very mobile, good defender, makes a decent outlet pass, doesn't really fuck up out there. I've got time. Like this. I look at him like this is a pretty. I mean, this is a compliment, a pretty run of the mill first round pick.
Yeah, like I like everything. I'm not ecstatic about everything. I like everything. So I mean,
Hensler.
Yeah. Well, no, Hensler did have more the elite skill. I think it's more like Brustevich, right? Like I think it's just he does everything decently well, and there's just not, everyone's question, what's the elite skill? Like, well, like he does everything well. Like that is the elite skill. He kind of.
How would you like him compared to Boumediene?
I liked him better, but
yeah, me too.
But again, it's August 13th.
So. I know, but we can only compare what we can compare. I think he looked better at this point last year than a guy like Boumediene did.
Well, I thought Boumediene struggled to skate pretty early in the year. He did get better as the year went on, but I mean, I think he did struggle with his pace a little bit. Like I don't see that type of flaw with Gustafsson that I was worried about.
No, and that's very fair. I completely agree. So let's keep going on the Swedes here. We're getting a little long, but not too bad. So the three look, it's obviously three big forwards on the Swedes in terms of not necessarily big, but in terms of high profile that were kind of projected coming in, guys that we've watched: Nordmark, Hermansson, and Holmertz. I would say all three of them, in my mind, have stayed in that. Okay, these are first round quality players. Where do you want to start?
I can talk about Hermansson for a minute. I mean, offensively, there's a pretty good guy here. Now, now reading the scouting reports on him, people they kind of rave about his skill in terms of he's a pretty good playmaker in that. One thing I really liked about him, like he can shoot the puck, and he kind of can shoot the puck in multiple ways. He gets open.
Yes.
Like he finds soft ice a lot for especially a guy that the other team should be keying on. Like, I think that's the other thing. Like, he's not hiding out there. Like, the other teams know, like, he's one of their top guys on the scouting report, and he's always open.
Yeah.
Like, that's
he is a very high skill guy, though. Like, the scouting reports are right in that sense.
Yeah, it's tough to teach that skill, though. I think that's probably something we undervalue is just the ability to get open all the time. Like,
do we undervalue that?
I think we do. Because not many guys can do it. Like he's all like he finds the soft ice all the time.
Smart man, he's a smart offensive player. And I do agree. Like he can shoot the puck, and again, we mentioned this earlier in the episode. Like that keeps defenders honest, and it prevents them from. Look, if you got a guy that you know is passing the puck, or you know is shooting the puck, you can't defend them all the time, but it's sure as fuck a lot easier to try and stop one thing than it is a guy who can really shoot and pass at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So I like that with him, and I do agree with your take there. And I feel like
I almost argue though, like again. So just go back to the draft last year. Like, think of a guy like even like Cole Reshny, right? Like Cole Reshny has a good shot.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm not comparing them to the offensive skill set portion here, but Hermansson can actually utilize his shot more because he can get open for other guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't like. It's hard to explain as a goalie, but again, it's just the guy's over there. The play goes to the other side, and the whole scouting report is like, don't let him shoot. And then they pass it back, and he's ripping it on you from the freaking slot. And you're like, what the hell happened? Like, we all know that we don't want him to shoot the puck.
But he's getting open anyways.
But he's opening a pretty dangerous area on me. And you're like, shit.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I have my reports on him from last season, or from his games last season, I have the puck skills and the playmaking and the offensive hockey sense graded extremely high. I have the shot graded lower than those three things, but still is a high grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
again, I think there are better shooters than him, but he has a better ability of getting into areas to utilize his shot.
Okay, so here's one line in my report that I noted about him when I watched him, that he has a very good placement on his shots, and he tends to shoot with a purpose or a plan in mind. Yeah. He's not just firing the puck for the sake of a shot, a la some guys last year who got drafted to St. Louis. But you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But like Carbonneau is an example. He fired 300, 4,000, 4,000, 5,000 shots on goal last year.
Hit a lot of shin pads.
Right. Because it's like anytime you can shoot, he's shooting. Whereas this guy, it's like he can shoot, but he's only going to shoot if it kind of makes sense. And that to me is again, that's an indication of a high hockey sense player, because if he's not shooting, like when I watch him shoot, he's not always shooting to score. And that's the thing that people don't realize. Like sometimes you're shooting for a rebound, sometimes you're shooting as a pass, like sometimes you're shooting just to get a whistle, right? So, but either way, like regardless of what he's doing, and he can shoot to score. It's not what I'm saying, but when he shoots the puck, he's got an idea of like kind of, oh, I'm doing this because of, not just puck shoot.
He's not, the other thing again, he's not going into traffic. Like that's like, again, if you compare him to a guy like Carbon will just skate it into traffic all the time. And that's kind of what I was, whenever we went on, other podcasts and that, like some guys really like Carbon. Like that's what I was trying to like get at. Like, yes, he has, like, if you look at kind of like his underlying stats, like, yes, there's lots of zone entries, but like, what's he doing with the zone entry?
Well, he scored a ton of goals.
He did, but he also turned it over a bunch. But the point is, like, this guy's going to make a good decision with the zone entry. Yeah. Like, you have a good decision maker here, and he has tools that he can utilize. So this is a good offensive prospect. Like, this is a very good offensive prospect. Is he the best one? No. But is he a good one? I think yes. I think he is quite a good one.
So top 6 winger.
Yeah.
This is a guy who looks like a top 6 winger here. I think there's a ton of offensive tools. And look, this goes kind of similar reports with Nordmark in the sense of a very toolsy guy with some high-end offensive potential, I think. And a little bit different player, yes. But the Hermansson kid, I think this is a guy who's like, you're going to see his name pretty often, especially in mocks if teams are looking for scoring help. This is a guy that could be in that, maybe in that 10 to 20 range where you typically see first and second line wingers tend to go.
Maybe an organization that already has kind of their centerman too, like they're looking for some talent on the wings there. Like it's
like Ottawa if they had a first round pick.
Yeah. Before we go, I just wanted to chat about the goalies. I mean, I haven't.
What do you think of Holmert's quick? Like he hasn't stood out to me the way the other two has, but he's a very good two-way center. I think he looks like a better version of Gastreen.
Yeah, he's better than Gastreen. I mean,
just in the sense of a good two-way player who kind of just does everything pretty well.
I think there's some more offensive danger there than Gastreen. Like I think, like again, he had some opportunities against the United States that he created. Like there's more offensive ability than a Gastreen for sure.
Well, but he plays his role because he knows he's playing with two pretty offensive players, and he's a guy like he's the conscience on that line while still being very good.
He's a Swedish centerman.
Still being very good off. Yeah, exactly. Yes, he's a prototype Swedish centerman, good two-way player. That's for sure. So
I think he has more offensive upside than a Gastreen. Like I think that
I agree completely. That's why I say a better version of him, right?
I think he's a bit better version than that. In terms of the goalies, I mean, I tweeted this out today. I'm not sure what this goalie class is like. Again, there's going to be more. I had some guys throw me some names out there that I'm going to look at, which I mean, I need to look at.
Well, we haven't seen the Russian goalies yet, and that's all that matters.
No, but I mean, there's a couple guys that I follow and speak with, on there that are pretty renowned goalie guys, or at least guys who know what's going on with the goaltending kind of scouting. And even they're like, there's not this, like, this isn't as good of a class as it was last year.
Last year's goalie class was excellent.
Very good. I think there was 3 guys that could have went in the first round.
Yeah.
Now, would I have drafted in the first round? That's different. I wouldn't have, but that's because I just have a bias that I won't do it.
A bias against your own people.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I didn't question any of the picks. Like I was fine with them. They picked the right guys. But yeah, like I don't even really see like there as of right now. Look, he's quick. He played quite well. He is too active in the net, and he's a little too small for me. So like I don't know what type of prospect we're really looking at here. I wasn't impressed with the Finnish goaltender. I thought he struggled. And honestly, I thought Finland could have beat Canada in that game if they actually had some better goaltending. I think they could have. They didn't have the goaltender, and that's maybe what the Achilles heel of this age group will be for the Finland side. Might be their goaltending. They'll have to find a guy.
Okay, but yeah, okay.
Peloton, I like the composure he plays with. He can push off again. Good feet to push off with.
Made a hell of a save today on that cross crease one.
His butterfly is short. Like he looks kind of like me out there. Like the butterfly is not long enough.
It was in terms of the flexibility and the grind sort of thing.
Yeah, like it's if you watch some of the other look at Frolov last year, right? Like that butterfly's long. Like he gets the pads out. Nice.
It's about how much you can do the splits basically is what you're talking about.
It's just yes. And again, we're talking about the NHL. So like again, the margins here are quite small.
Yep.
Like this is a margin. So again, just look for that. I think I'll look for improvement there from him. But I didn't
know even on that cross crease save there, like he did have like a bit of a steeper angle on that kind of triangle
because he was short, and so he had to push out his leg. Whereas if it was I'll say this again, a guy like Frolov wouldn't have had to do that. He would have just pushed across.
He would have been all the way there already.
Yes,
like Jonathan Quick.
And that's why a team's like, we're going to draft the athlete and make this guy a starter because that ability is there. That's the difference between guys.
Because you can get away with that at the junior level, but like you said, the margin is small. The NHL shooters will expose that.
Even like I'll point to myself here, beer league special. I can get away with it at certain levels.
Yeah.
But when I start playing better guys, like again, I can do some things out there, but it gets it like that's where I kind of get exposed because I'm not as flexible as other guys. Like I can't move as fast.
Or as you used to be.
Well, yeah, that's just another fucking story. Whatever.
We're losing a step. We're at the point in our lives where we're starting to lose a step athletically, and we don't like it. We don't have many steps.
Now, I did not mind Nielsen for Sweden. I liked the size. I thought the butterfly was good. Like it was, again, big guy, long legs, covered the lower part of the net well. Not a quick mover, but does screen to me like a guy who might be drafted. Like this does look like a guy who could be a draft. Again, just with the size component. And again, good legs, has a good frame. And like there's some skill here. So like that, he might be a draft. He would be a guy I at least have some interest in. Again, I haven't watched Slovakia yet. I need to watch Hrenek, the guy I mentioned before. Some of the goalie scouts are pretty high on him, actually. So again, that's a guy I want to look at kind of further. But out of what I've seen so far, I mean, again, there's maybe one guy that I'm kind of interested in the draft, but everyone else I'm kind of just on.
I would say that the top three, Ravensburg, Andrianov, Frolov, Medvedev, Pradell, those guys I liked all better than any goalie I've seen in this tournament so far.
Yeah, I have. Well, yes, that's yeah. Even so Ivan, I would even say even Ivan Kovic is.
Yeah.
Like Ivan Kovic's a better goalie prospect than these guys.
Yeah, so like I haven't seen now. This tournament is not necessarily reflective of the goalie class as a whole.
No, it's not. No.
But relative, we're just putting in comparative sake compared to last year. Like I don't see a guy goalie wise who's even close to a first rounder. I don't think I see a second rounder in this group that has been at this tournament particularly, and then third round on is where you start. Like that, they're more look like mid-round goalie prospects to me than true high-end guys.
We'll see what the Slovakian guy here looks like. I think Peloton might get drafted. Again, I think that's more of a mid to late round guy.
Well, I think these guys will get drafted, just not in the top 50 picks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure about these other guys, though. They're kind of small. Like it's tough. It's tough.
It could be a down year for goalies.
Yeah, the last 2 years have been actually sneaky good for goaltending, and not a lot of people have talked
about it last year.
Well, the year before you talked about it, there wasn't really a first round goalie, but there was actually a lot of goalies drafted. And there were some talented guys.
Yeah.
Like Zarubin from Calgary is a guy I really like. Now, again, he's another guy from Siberia, obviously. But, I mean, again, you're looking at size, athletic ability, like it's there. And that's what you're kind of looking at. Again, you want to harness that ability that they have. So that's a guy, if we're mentioning a guy, that's a guy I really, really shout out to the Western Hockey League scout, because I always support him on that one because he gets chirped for liking that guy. He's right on that one.
I love it. Okay, let's wrap this up. Quick prediction time. We got Sweden versus Finland. Darren, who you got?
Go Finland. Swomy.
You know what? Why not? Let's get it. We didn't predict them to medal before the tournament. Let's predict them to medal now. I will take Finland, which means we both picked them, which means they're definitely going to fucking lose.
So they're going to lose like 6-0 probably.
Yeah, Sweden's going to spank them and steal their lunch money. But I'll take Finland because I like cheering for the underdog, and that first line's a ton of fun to watch. That said, might be tough to stop that those high octane offensive guys for Sweden.
Let's try not to let Hermansson shoot the puck. Let's try not to let him shoot.
Game plan: don't let this guy shoot. Okay, so we got Finland over Sweden, so we'll be wrong there. Canada over USA.
Yeah,
I'm taking Canada over USA.
Yeah,
I meant to frame that as a concept.
They've Keaton Verhoeff. They really need to shut it down. They'll shut it down.
I think that'll be the story, is Canada's defense. Now, again, like we talked about, if there is a team that can expose them, or at least have a hope to, it would be a very high-skilled, high-octane, very fast, very dynamic American team. You know, we talked earlier in the beginning of the tournament, in our tournament preview episode, that the States don't send their best to this tournament. This is one of the better United States rosters I can remember at the Hlinka. I think the new rules have made a lot of guys stay off the national team program.
I wanted to point that out. I'm sorry to any of the U.S. people who are listening. The national development program last year was trash. They sucked. They sucked. So, and they're not that good this year. I think, and again, none of these guys are really playing on that team. There's your example. The better players aren't playing on them.
All right, can I drop a conspiracy theory that I just made up? What if, do we think, I'll pose it as a question, do we think that with the new transfer rules, the national team development program could be not a full casualty, but a soft casualty of that, whereas 2, 3, 4 guys maybe that would be on that team every year before come over to the CHL because they have a path to the NCAA now. Whereas as a USHL, look, the thing with the national team development program is that they're an independent team and they play an exhibition schedule, right? And I know they play in the USHL, but they spank those teams around, and then they play in the NCAA and they get spanked by those teams. So they're not they're in a situation, they're always way better. I mean, look, the top USHL, they lose some games. Yes, I'm not saying they don't dominate every game, but generally, they do very well against the USHL teams, have a tougher time against the NCAA. The USHL is going to be weaker.
It is weaker.
Right, as a result of the CHL transfer agreement. And the NCAA is going to actually get stronger because there's going to be more players coming when they're older, right? So now you're in a situation where the gap between you and the USHL teams has widened, and the gap between you and the NCAA teams has also widened the opposite way. So now you're really between fucking leagues here. So maybe some of these kids say, this is fucking brain dead. What am I doing? I'm going to go play against my actual peers in the CHL, then go to university anyways. So do we think it's possible that we see some national team development program brain drain up north to Canada?
So this is one of the best explanations you have. There's no,
I don't have any,
there's no maybe here. That is happening.
Yeah.
And yes, this program will be a casualty. This program will not be the same. Okay, they're going to have to redo how they do their under 17, under 18. You know, because all these better players are probably going to go play,
or not all, but a lot.
Most of them are going to go play CHL.
But the big thing to me is
and by the way, before we go, I am going to rant about this. All the people saying, wow, the CHL's in trouble. They've signed like 80 guys from the USHL.
The CHL is a winner in that.
The
We said
CHL
that when it happened.
The CHL lost like 15 guys that are like, again, were probably, again, for their development is better for them. So sorry, like the Victoria Royals got screwed. But like, sure. And I honestly, I still expect half these guys to come back, to be honest. And you can say what I want. There's going to be guys coming back at Christmas. 100%.
Yes, there will.
100%.
There will be.
Well, like there's going to be guys that aren't getting power play times. They don't like the coach. Like they don't want to go to school.
They don't want to play like tighter. Like the NCAA is a lot more tighter defensive.
I've only have 5 points in the first 12 games that I've played. I'm going back to Brandon. Like, that might have been a slander for one guy. Sorry,
Darren. Come on.
Look, I'm just going to point one thing. Everyone's like the Brandon Wheat Kings are in trouble. The guy they lost had 20 points for them last year.
Yeah.
Like the CHL is going to gain out of this more than they lose. And it's better for the players. It's way like, look, I'm not going to say it's totally better, but it's better. There's more options for players.
It is better for the players.
It's better to have options, but some of these players, but some of these players are, but they're going to make mistakes on their decisions here. And that's what hasn't been discussed yet.
But that's on them.
But everyone has googly eyes over the NCAA, and we look at Twitter like, oh, look at this, great signing.
If they make mistakes going to the NCAA early, that's on nobody but themselves and their fucking dumb agents.
Themselves, you're right. But there are going to be mistakes. We need to be cognizant of that.
There will be, yes. Yeah. But as a whole, like this is generally much better for the players. And we said this when the announcement came out. Everyone said it would hurt the CHL. I said, no. The CHL and the NCAA win. The players win. Junior A loses. USHL loses. That's who loses big time here. CIS loses. So the tier 2 leagues lose. And there's now a much more natural development path for players because you get 4 extra years that you didn't have before you have to turn pro and go to the American League or go to the NHL.
But you also get the option of playing different types of hockey depending on what development you need.
It's way better.
Maybe we'll stop ranking the USHL better than the Q. Maybe that'll happen this year. I don't know.
No one who knows what the fuck they're talking about ranks the USHL better than the Q. Sorry. Yes, okay. You may have, like, over the last few years, you may have had a couple higher picks.
They go to the
you may have had a couple higher picks coming out of the USHL, but the overall talent of the league, Q teams would spank USHL teams.
They're also not in the USHL because they want to be in the USHL. They're in the USHL so they go play college. Like the colleges are developing them. It's not the USHL.
Right.
Like, yeah, the Q would crush the goaltending in that. Again, so there's a couple good goalies in those leagues. The goaltending depth in that league, not good.
I agree. Okay, we're off topic again, but that's fine.
I had to talk about it.
Darren, you got Canada over USA. I got Canada over USA. We both got Finland over Sweden. So Canada, Finland is our prediction. USA, Sweden, that'd be a great matchup. If either team could give a fuck for that game, that'd be a great bronze medal game.
Sweden will give more of a fuck than the US will.
Now, unless, again, this looks like a bit of a different American team that I'm used to seeing at this tournament. So maybe, no, but typically American teams don't like anything other than a true first place win, and they'll tend to pack it up in a bronze medal game. But again, I've seen more things I like from this American team than the last few versions at the Hlinka tournament. So I think this is a different squad that I do think that's going to be a pretty tight, close game against Canada. I don't think Canada's going to run them out of the building. I could see a world where we lose. I sure hope not, because I don't want to have to fucking hear about it. But could be 2 very good teams or 4 very good teams in the semifinals.
Yeah. I mean, again, there should be a couple good games here. And you'll learn a lot about some of these guys. So I'm excited for
right on. Well, thanks for tuning in, and check out our next episode. Will be released on Sunday, the day after the finals. We will have special guest Brock Otten, which we're both really excited to pick his brain about his thoughts on the tournament. So we will do a Hlinka wrap-up, talk about the semifinals and the medal round games, and get our final thoughts on the tournament.
And we'll also talk about the Sarnia Sting.
We will talk about the Sarnia Sting, Darren's new pet project for the year. That's it for us. We've gone on way too long. If you're still listening, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments. We will be sure to carry on the discussion. Thanks as always. Take care.